You're sitting there staring at your phone. 3 hours have passed, no reply. You've written the message, deleted it, rewrote it, deleted it again. And now you're doing that thing where you convince yourself that one more text will fix everything. You replay the conversation in your head. What did you say wrong? Was it that joke? Was it too much? Not enough? What do I say now? Did I come on too strong? Why does this always happen to me? Here's the truth that nobody tells you. She didn't pull away because of what you said. She pulled away because of what she felt, specifically what she felt from you. And here's what nobody explains. Your confusion right now isn't weakness. It's actually completely understandable because nobody ever taught you this. Most guys feel exactly this, and nobody gives them the real answer. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why chasing destroys attraction, why your silence is your most powerful tool, and how to walk away with your energy completely intact without feeling like you're giving up. Let's get into it. Mindset reframe. Most guys believe that when a woman pulls away, the solution is to work harder, to send more texts, to double down, to explain yourself, to prove you're worth it. But the real truth is, every time you chase, you teach her brain that your attention is conditional on her approval. And that's when the dynamic shifts in the worst way possible. She doesn't fall for effort, she falls for energy. Here's what most guys completely miss. An avoidant woman isn't actually scared of connection. She's scared of losing herself in someone who doesn't have a solid center. When you chase, you're broadcasting, "I'm not grounded. I need you to feel okay about myself." And her gut is saying, "Something about him is off. He doesn't know who he is without me." But when you're calm, when you're silent, when you hold your frame, she senses something different entirely. Her energy shifts. She starts paying attention in a way she wasn't before, because you just showed her, through your presence, not your words, that you can hold space for uncertainty without falling apart. That's when attraction actually begins. Main body, 7 points. 1. The anti-chaise response. Most guys, the second they feel someone pulling away, they panic text. They send that "you good" message, they over-explain, they try to smooth things over, and here's why that destroys everything. When you explain yourself, you're essentially saying, "I need you to see me correctly. Please don't think badly of me." That's not attractive. That's neediness wearing a polite disguise. The deeper psychological truth here is that women respond to men who have an internal locus of validation, meaning you don't need her to reassure you. You already know your own value. So instead of chasing, you do this. You don't send another text until she does. Period. Not because you're playing a game, but because your peace matters more than her silence. And here's where it gets interesting. When you go silent, her brain starts doing something unexpected. She starts replaying the conversation, wondering if she was too harsh, questioning whether she misread something. That's emotional caffeine for her brain. 2. The frame that feels unshakable. Most guys in uncertain moments try to anchor themselves by asking for reassurance. Did I do something wrong? Are we okay? I'm sorry if I upset you. Every one of those messages communicates one thing. I don't have my own ground to stand on. Please tell me I'm okay. The psychological insight is this. Women are wired to test for emotional stability, not because they're cruel, but because their biology is scanning for a partner who can hold steady under pressure. Your ability to stay calm is the attraction signal she's looking for. Here's the shift. When you feel the urge to explain or apologize, pause. Take one full breath, and then either say something brief and confident or say nothing at all. For example, instead of, "Hey, sorry if I came on too strong, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable," just send, "Hope you're having a good night." That response tells her, "I said what I said. I'm not apologizing for having a voice. And I'm not sitting here anxiously waiting for your verdict." And when you do that, she feels safe in a way she didn't expect, because you just showed her you're not going to collapse if things get a little unclear. 3. The prisoner's gamble. Here's the part nobody talks about. When you chase an avoidant person, you're actually putting yourself in psychological prison. You're giving up your freedom to react, to feel okay, to have a good day, all based on whether she responds to you. Most guys don't realize this. They think they're being persistent. They think they're showing they care. But what they're actually doing is volunteering to be emotionally held hostage. The deeper behavioral truth is this: your brain craves closure. When someone goes quiet, your mind keeps generating anxiety because it wants resolution. And so you chase, seeking that dopamine hit of maybe this will be the message that fixes it. But here's what changes everything. That closure doesn't come from her. It comes from you. The moment you decide, I'm okay either way, your nervous system settles. And that energy is what makes you magnetic. So next time you feel the pull to chase, recognize it for what it is. It's your brain looking for a hit, and you're choosing not to give it away. That's the kind of man who becomes genuinely unstoppable. 4. The difference between peaceful and cold. Most guys go silent in one of two ways. Either they go cold and passive-aggressive, dropping hints like, guess you're busy, or they go peaceful and genuinely unbothered. The first way, she feels it immediately. Her energy shifts, she knows you're upset, and now there's this weird tension hanging over everything. But the second way, that's where the magic lives. Here's the psychological mechanism. When you can genuinely be at peace while she's distant, you communicate something powerful about your internal world. You're showing her that your well-being isn't contingent on her presence. You're a complete human being with or without her validation, not because you're faking it, but because you actually have a life, purpose, and grounding outside of this one interaction. And here's the thing. She feels the difference between performed calm and real calm. A woman can sense when you're suppressing frustration versus when you genuinely don't need the outcome. That authentic piece is what creates obsession, not strategy. That's when she starts replaying the conversation thinking, why do I keep thinking about him? 5. The deal breaker moment. This is the one most guys completely miss. Sometimes silence isn't the answer. Sometimes you need to actually leave. Not in a dramatic way, not as a manipulation tactic, but because your self-respect is non-negotiable. Most guys stay in dynamic where they keep reaching out, keep initiating, keep showing up, even when the other person's actions communicate clear disinterest, and they tell themselves stories like, she's just busy, or she needs time, or if I just give her space. But here's the deeper truth. A man who knows his value doesn't beg for attention. He states his position, and if it's not met, he walks. Quietly, calmly, without accusation. She doesn't fall for desperation. She falls for men who have a clear threshold for how they'll be treated. So here's your rule. If you've reached out twice and gotten nothing back, stop. Not as a game, but because you deserve reciprocal energy. And silence becomes your superpower only when you're willing to use it with conviction, not as a technique. That's when her brain says, this guy doesn't need me to validate him. 6. The identity upgrade. Here's the reframe that changes everything. This isn't about getting her back. This isn't about winning the silence game. This isn't about making her regret pulling away. This is about who you're becoming. Most guys treat every interaction as a test to pass. They say the right thing, walk the right line, perform the right energy, all in hopes of getting a specific outcome. And when it doesn't work, they feel broken. But the real shift is this. You stop being outcome dependent, not because you don't care, but because your identity is no longer tied to any single person's validation. This isn't a trick. This is who you're becoming. You develop the mindset of a man who knows that his peace is his power, that his energy is his message, that his ability to hold frame under pressure is what separates him from every other guy who falls apart when things get uncertain. And here's what happens when you internalize this. You stop performing and start being, and that's when everything shifts. Not just with her, with every interaction, every conversation, every dynamic in your life. 7. The final silence principle. Let me tie this all together with the core principle. Most guys think silence means giving up. It means you lost. It means you didn't care enough to fight. But the real truth is, silence is power when it comes from strength, not from fear. Not from, I'm going to show her I'm not interested, but from, I know my value. I don't need to fill every silence with noise just to feel like I'm in control. Your silence becomes a superpower when you're not using it as a tool, when it's simply an expression of your groundedness, your peace, your unwavering sense of self. She feels that. Her energy shifts around it. And that magnetic pull she feels, that's not about you doing something to her. That's about you being completely, unshakably yourself.